Let them let you. Yep, I'm doing it. I've been reading Mel Robbins' book, Let Them Theory, and I'm so obsessed with this. And I was thinking about how this applies to podcast workflow today, and that's what I want to share with you. I kid you not, this is perfect. If you have a podcast, stay. This is going to help. If you don't have a podcast, but you know someone who does, please forward this to them because they need to hear this. Yes. All right, let's do this. So basically, what Mel Robbins talks about is that you can't control people. I'm saying this for myself as well as you because I'm I like to get things done, and sometimes it feels like there are other people that are in the way of things getting done. However, when it comes to podcast workflow, here's the deal. There are so many different ways you can manage your workflow. And some of those can be complicated and some of those can be simple. And the thing is, there is a tendency for people to really like to jump on whatever is the newest thing, right? And like if a tool is popular, people like to experiment with it. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I live in the world of experimentation. However, if it doesn't work for you, then it's not a good idea to keep using it. And I say that to myself as well, because I like the idea of being able to be in conversations about workflow and geek out about like this part of the tool and that part of the tool. But what I found early on for me is that I needed to let everyone else, let them play with the tools that they wanted and talk about it without me because I needed to let me use the simplest tool I could. I spent years experimenting with different tools like Notion and ClickUp and so on and so forth. And I worked with some folks who used specific tools that I had to use while I managed their stuff. Fine. But when I'm doing my own stuff, when I'm doing my client stuff and I'm managing the podcast, as I do, I really prefer to use the simplest thing ever. I honestly right now use a Google Sheet. I use a Google Drive to capture all the information, for them to upload the files, me to save things, to have a tracking sheet. Like I simplified it as much as possible and I cruise through my workflow because I gave up the idea of being in that workflow conversation about those tools that don't work for me. So I let them play with the tools that work for them. I shouldn't say play with. This is work. Come on, this is work. I let people use the tools that work for them, and I let me not be in the conversation. It's hard. There are not really sexy conversations about Google Sheets out there. Like, it's just not a thing. I don't think so. If there are, please leave a comment below because I would like to be in those. I love workflow conversations, but I needed to let me use a tool that helped me do my work faster, better, clearer, so I could put my hands on stuff and know where I was at any given moment the way that I need to. And that's the thing. You need to do something similar for you. If that is something that is like one of the fancier tools, so be it. If it's one of the simpler tools like I use, so be it. But you need to use what works for you. Look, look, look. You're making a podcast to get your word out. I'm doing these to help you get your word out, to make things simpler, easier, more streamlined, so that you can get your word out sooner, so you can do literally everything else. Everything else in your business, everything else in your community, everything else in your life. Your podcast workflow should not take over your life. You should go through your workflow, get your podcast out into the world, get your message out there, do your promotions, and move on. Do everything else because podcasting is a wonderful space to be in. I just got a new boom arm and it is being a little finicky because I don't think I tightened it as much as I needed to. So I'm going to awkwardly tighten it right now. And don't worry, I'll be doing videos on it once I get the hang of it. I don't want to do it until I can show you. You need to do your workflow in a way that helps you get your word out so that your message out there so that you can move on and do anything else. So let them use the tools that they use, and let you pick the tool that works best for you so you can get the heck on with your life and get your podcast into the ears of as many people as possible, or eyes if you also have a podcast over on YouTube. If you need help with any of that, you know where to find me. I'll be doing lives like this all week about this time, give or take, but I'll be putting up notifications so you can sign up to get notified. And yeah, I'm going to schedule those right now. Every day this week. I did it last week too. There's a playlist that you can look at for all the tips from last week and today's and furthermore. There's also other videos in the other areas that I help folks with their workflow. YouTube for podcasting, ChatGPT, promotions, so on and so forth. So look for those playlists. I want you to, just like your workflow, I want you to be able to identify the areas that you need, go into those playlists, find the information, and move on with your podcast and your life and make those connections that you need to and that you want to with your podcast. It's a it's it's pretty awesome to be doing these live, these quick, not as quick as I wanted, but these quick lives every day now for a bit until I get the hang of it and then figure out when to do them. I love this. I love this so much. Leave a comment below if this has helped or if you have any comments or if you have something that you need help with. I'd love to turn that into one of these lives. Let's do it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I will see you